Finance Committee to order. Could we have a roll call?
Mr. Fisher.
Here.
Ms. Chesser.
Yeah.
Mr. Michelson.
Here.
Mr. Dahl is absent.
Okay.
We have a motion to excuse.
Do we have a motion to excuse Darren? I'll make a motion to excuse Darren. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
No.
All right, great. We excuse Darren. So tonight we just need to set the agenda and adopt. The agenda you have in front of you was a temporary agenda. The only changes I have on it is to, under new business, to remove the technology line that was already discussed in our previous meeting. And then it would be to review the finance packets, the most recent finance packet, which would go under new business as well, correct, Eric?
I mean, that's just, yeah.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended, or does anyone have any other items to add to it?
I do want to talk about technology.
You want to talk about it again?
I don't know what it was. I wasn't here last time.
All right, well, we can add it back on, and
It's going to come up in the solicitor's bill.
no, it won't come up in solicitor, but we can briefly review what we talked about in the previous meeting. So we'll add the technology back on as to review the technology piece that we discussed at the last
No
meeting
air conditioning has to be under a minute.
in our finals. What was that?
There's no air conditioning in here.
Yeah. Okay. So do I have a motion to accept the agenda as amended, just adding the review finance packet?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Take it as unanimous. Okay, great. We don't currently have anyone registered to address the committee. So now we're just going to approve the minutes from January 20th, 2026. I have a copy in front of me on my computer.
You can make motions also.
I am well aware. So has everyone had a chance to review the agenda or the minutes from the previous meeting in January?
It's February, I apologize, that was
That was February,
21st, I believe was the.
from February 21st.
17th, sorry, February 17th.
From February 17th.
I sent that in an email earlier today, so that you guys at least would have a copy, but that was not, again, I mean, this is, I have no access to website stuff right now.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, so if you,
Well, we can table that and approve it at the next meeting.
whatever you want.
Okay.
So I move to table the approval of our previous meeting's minutes to our next finance meeting. Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we're going to table the approval of our February minutes. So on to new business. The first item of new business is really two things. I had talked with Mr. Putoff and Captain Reed about restructuring the pay for the service department and the police department. I had emailed out to all of you the police ordinance, not the police ordinance, the police request, but I have printed copies of the service request here. Everyone?
Thank you.
So first I'll go with what I think is the easier item is the ask for the police department. Some background on this, we had previously approved for the police department 6% increases for 3 years, both to help with retention and recruitment of new officers. Our current pay bands don't actually allow for those 6% increases. Those increases actually exceed the bands that we have as ordinance currently. So I talked with Captain Reed, and I've also talked with Mr. Pricknoff, our fiscal officer, about the ask. I will outline that ask here. The captain, the C3 level 2 command, for the band to top out at $47.59 an hour, or roughly $99,000 annually based off of 2,080 hours. The C2 level of lieutenant to cap out at $45.78 an hour, approximately $100,000 a year for 2,184 hours total. The sergeant to be paid at $39.37 an hour, which tops out at $86,000 a year annually for 2,184 hours. And then a C1 patrol officer would make the same, or would have the top out band level of $39.37 an hour. The reason for that same top out level as the sergeant is because of the administration had approved higher pay for part-time officers to incentivize part-time officers to work part-time, which would save the village on benefits and health benefits and pension matching, pension contributions. And so
pension contributions are the same part-time.
Oh, they're the same?
It's a different pension system, but it's also 100%.
Okay, so it was just saving on the, thank you, just saving on the health benefits, and insurance benefits. The part-time person would not cap out the band. We just needed to add the space because of the higher part-time higher part-time rate and the patrol officer increase. And then the police clerk would be $28.36 an hour, or roughly $59,000 annually for 2,080 hours. I had emailed that out to everyone. I had reviewed that with Eric previously. We met last week to discuss it. And both Eric and I feel that those are levels that are actually appropriate and very modest requests to reach our 6% increases that we had agreed to give the police department previously. And so our ask tonight would be to refer this to full council to vote and approve the top end to increase the top end of the bands to the amounts listed just now and that I emailed out to everyone earlier. You didn't receive that?
Brett set up my email.
Are you locked into it now?
The last thing I got was from March the 21st.
No, but he didn't.
I haven't had anything since then, but Brett set up my thing.
No, did he set it up again after they got us back onto the old servers?
Yeah, he set it up when we had the last meeting, yeah.
You haven't received anything since March 21st?
Nope.
Are you connected to the internet?
I didn't hear a word you said.
Are you connected to the internet here?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so it's Brett.
Well, you know what? I don't know if I am or not.
Are you in the Outlook icon or are you on the website?
I don't know. Yeah. Let me go find my email. Somebody help me. I know I don't know what I'm doing.
Captain Michelle for
Sure.
Thank you.
I thought Melanie, but her little happy self over here.
No, because I don't know, y'all done changed emails
Oh,
3
wait a
or 4
minute.
times.
Village emails.
I don't know.
Yeah, that looks right.
Anyway, while he figures
Am I
that
going here?
out, But I did not get the attached ordinance, it says ordinance 22-5. You have that?
And the ordinance,
Yeah.
I sent out,
I guess I ain't gonna pay
22-5 can be found on the website.
I can't find it on the website.
I can re-forward it to you now. I sent it out earlier.
Okay, that's supposed to be already in there.
So I just send it to you right now again.
Just the ordinance.
How are you doing? Lauren.
Okay, so, I don't know. I don't know.
So all that, the 22-5 ordinance, just outlines of the previous bans that we set up, and we would just be adding on to the top end of those bans.
This other stuff we added another day. Do this again.
You come through, you David?
Ellie, you're not closing those doors, are you?
It's gonna be a hot box in here, you don't do that.
Okay,
Yeah, there's no AC.
they walked away, it's hot. I mean, it's loud.
We just asked them to move, yeah, I wouldn't shut the doors. Let me call Brett.
So I don't know. I just gotta call Brett again.
You just gotta reset your password.
I just gotta call him again.
All right, so since you guys haven't had an opportunity to review it, we've only got 10 minutes left of this meeting. I'm gonna ask that you guys take the time to review it, so that we can get this passes right now. The police department's not receiving their full 6% raises that we had promised them. So we'll move to the next item. What you do have in front of you,
Do we have a new ordinance to override this or not?
we don't have an ordinance yet. We are just reviewing and starting the discussion. The goal would have been to pass the ordinance at the next council meeting. And we need to get that written up, but I didn't want to spend the solicitor's time writing an ordinance until we've actually discussed the increases.
Is there any disagreement on the increases? It was already decided 6% last year.
No,
Just
this
update
whole
the
ordinance is the disagreement, not the 10%. I mean, this was written, I feel very biased for the person that wrote it in your board.
Well, this ordinance is not, the 22-5 was passed in 2022.
I'm just saying, these scales don't reflect reality for everybody else besides one person, whatever. Doesn't make a difference, we have to override it and that's the issue.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at proposed restructure for the service department. The service department has a request to have three types of positions, a full-time, part-time, and seasonal. And they also have an ask to add an extra full-time employee. I met with Mr. Pritnoff. What was that? So I met with Mr. Pritnoff to look at the budgetary impact of this ask. And we did the calculation with the new bans being proposed in front of you below. Will increase our expense for for pay for the service department between $20,000 and $25,000 annually. And an additional full-time employee would increase it by another $60,000, including benefits. When I met with Mr. Pritnoff, I did feel that some of the top end bands for 10 plus years were a little high for the full-time workers. There would be, some of them would be receiving quite large increases. We kind of were I was more comfortable with the top end of the band being at the $26.25 level, which would still represent an increase. for our service workers. And the ask I was gonna have for our service department was, instead, because we don't actually have bands for them, he was just giving a hard dollar per hour ask. So that would mean if someone's here for 3 to 5 years, they wouldn't get a pay increase for 3 years. They would, at the 3-year mark, they get an increase. And at the 5-year mark, they would get an increase, but they wouldn't get increases before because we just have hard dollar amounts and not a band. So I was gonna ask Mr. Putoff, after we review tonight, to supply us with actual bands to review. So that way he has flexibility to provide raises, in between years before they move up to different levels. And so that way, necessarily, everyone, you're not stuck where you are for multiple years. We were also gonna ask, I was gonna ask also how Mr. Putoff plans to utilize the extra full-time employees, since that is a very large increase to our budget for the department. And how my understanding after talking with various members of the village administration is that really a lot of our crunch time and need for a full-time person comes during snow and leaf removal, when it's really hard to get extra part-time people to fill that. And so to justify a full-time position for kind of seasonal needs, I know I would like to see a plan for how that position is going to be utilized throughout the rest of the year. Does anyone have any thoughts on kind of what's in front of you? So I'm just not giving my thoughts and just leaving it there. If you need, we could probably table this also. We have 5 minutes remaining.
I'd like to table it, but I would like to get a spreadsheet of what we currently own.
Okay. Eric, would you be able to provide
Provide a spreadsheet of.
What the current rates are.
what the current rates are? Sure. All right, so we'll table this for the next finance meeting, pending further review of our members and Mr. Prittenoff providing us with the current pay for our service employees. I'm going to skip the review of the solicitor billing for a quick moment, just to hit on the technology item that Mr. Fisher wanted to hear. There was an ask by Ms. Primer to review the possibility of amending our appropriations to allow us to purchase computers or tablets or whatever for council people so that they don't have to use their personal items. In our previous finance meeting, the committee felt that the administration had adequate authority to purchase a computer or tablet for a council person if they felt they needed it, and that we didn't necessarily need to amend appropriations at this time to meet that need, such as we've already done for Ms. Chesser to get her a computer that she can work on. So at the time, David, we just didn't feel we needed to amend appropriations. That was that. And the last thing, only because we have a few minutes and we won't be able to go into a full, I did email out to the members of the committee our January solicitor bill. It was, I'd say, a fair amount larger than we were anticipating. The bill total was in the amount of, if I can get it in front of me, was in a total of $22,709. That was a lot higher than I think we were anticipating. I'll assume because we didn't have a chance to review our other items, that this also wasn't reviewed, that I sent out last week. So I will, you did? So I think there are some highlights where I think we could, I think we want to be conscious of how we utilize the solicitor services. We value their insight and their expertise, but we do have to be careful as a village. I think there were a number of items of having them drive to and from the village. They are paid for that time. I think we could very easily just have phone or video conferences with them to save money. There have been contracts that have been reviewed that we haven't moved on, such as a contract for IT services that cost us over $1,000 to review. And we ended up not moving on that, although it seemed to have been a good service, and been in the village's interest. And there's just a number of items that, you know, we would love more clarity on why there's so much time consulting, and bringing up a bill of $22,000 for the village, because that's not really something we can, withstand for a year every single month. So I'd ask the committee members to review it. I'll try to provide the bills for the file for February and the other ones we've already had to see how our billing is going. I can understand how the first cycle, there could be a lot of time spent getting acquainted, learning the village, hitting necessary needs. We do have to, as a village, be cognizant of how we spend our money. Because we definitely did not anticipate spending $22,000 a month on solicitor services. So since that's all we can really do tonight, because we still need to review the pay ordinances, no one else has anything. Do we need to approve the packets?
I think that typically happens in full council.
Okay.
I can go over it very quickly.
We'll table that to full council because we're ending.
That was a motion by Mr. Fisher to table finance packet, or to refer finance packet to full council.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so great. That's all of our business for tonight. Hopefully by our next meeting, we'll have a little bit more time to review the structures, so that way we can have a discussion about how we feel about it. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so adjourned.
Look, look.
Full council.